For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you. But if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the Heedy Postgame Show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome in everybody to the Halos in the Infield postgame show. I am your host, Todd Fox. On unfortunate Tuesday, as the Angels go down, as you would have thought after beating DeGrom last night, you would have a better chance with Kikuchi out there, a borderline all-star, even though he didn't play. He was an official all-star, I should say. He didn't play in the all-star game, but he was good enough. He had the numbers to get there, but he himself, like everybody else on this staff and on this team, is very inconsistent, and he showed you why. And for some ungodly reason, while Rangers fans were asking themselves last night, how does the little engine that can't in the Angels beat our Jacob deGrom every time we face him? And then us Angel fans are, how is that Rangers underperforming team with Patrick Corbin beat us every time? Patrick Corbin, obviously we all know the story. Drafted by the Angels, got traded away, had some good years in Arizona, had some good years mostly in Washington, and has come to Texas and pitched all right, I guess. But he's been scuffling this year big time, 6 ERA, and man, again, just plows through us like nothing, 8 innings. And again, shuts us out until we get some home runs at the end, which I'll talk about here in a second. But with that being said, welcome into the most comprehensive, most interactive post-game show there is out there. Nobody does it better than myself. Yes, I'm going to pat myself on the back because why? Because it's by the fans, for the fans, for the fans, by the fans. You make this show go. I am just your captain. You tell me where to go. I'm like the Uber driver. You guys do a really good job of giving the comments as we read them later on in the show. And we also get through my monologue and everything else, discuss what happened in the game. And as far as tonight's game is concerned, man, oh man, again, you're getting shut out by Patrick Corbin. They're busting their 1 run on 4 hits, or no, actually no runs, 4 hits through most of the game. And Texas scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second. Kikuchi didn't have it. Our boy Fernando was in attendance tonight. Kikuchi runs his record to 6-9, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed and 6 runs. Again, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's not a strikeout pitcher, but you can't be surrendering walks and especially home runs. You did get to see a little bit of Silseth for the first time in a long time. He allowed 1 hit, got 2 strikeouts and a walk. So he had a little bit of a trouble there through 25 pitches. Bachman, we haven't seen in a while either. 2 innings pitched, 1 run, 2 hits allowed. That home run was the run. Then you had Zephyr John come in for a clean 8th inning. Again, Corbin, 3 hits, 8 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, only the 1 walk, 102 pitches, by far his best start of the year. And then the Angels were able to get 3 runs off of Colombe Bay, however you want to say his name. Scoring started like this. In the first inning, Garcia doubled to right, Langford scored, and Seager went to third. And then Young singled to left, Seager scored, and Garcia to third. It was 2-0. Freeman sacrificed fly would score Garcia to make it 3-0. And then Hellman in the second inning would homer to left center to make it 5-0 with Helm on base. And then Hizaka, whatever, homer to left center to make it 6-0. Then, of course, Seager has to say, I'm the best hitter of all time. Home run, they're down a touchdown. And then, of course, you can't have an Angels game without a meaningless home run or two. And one by Zach Neto, and then one by Adele. Now, Adele's means more because he now has 30 home runs. His redemption year, his ascension year, whatever you want to call it, but I think Adele has arrived. Now, it is my opinion, and is also a lot of other opinions on this page, and maybe a lot of you guys on the comments. True or false? And put it in the comments, please, because that's how I would know for sure. Joe Adele should have, if we're not playing the analytics game, and he was a little bit more disciplined as far as what being told what to do on a nightly basis or at bat by at bat. True or false to my claim that he could have about 20 to 30 points higher with his overall average? Because I have a feeling that we haven't seen the best of Adele because of his thigh issue. He can't beat out infield hits, and I think that oftentimes they're swinging for the fences, completely swinging for the fences. And speaking of which, to take away the home run by Neto, and you had nothing from Ward. You had one hit, two more strikeouts for Trout. Lugo got a little time, but no at bats. Renifo went 0 for 4. D'Arnaud went 0 for 4. Moore went 1 for 3. Kavadas is Kavadas. And Teodosio went 1 for 3, but a troubling 2 strikeouts. He's doing the same goddamn swings as Kyron Paris, except without the results. Again, I've said it over and over and over and over ad nauseum that guys like Teodosio, Lugo, Kyron Paris, when Nelson Rada gets here, these dudes need to be slap the ball hitters. We need to stop and scrap the idea of analytics. It is brutal. That is the title for tonight's show, is Halos plus analytics equals loss. And let me go to show you why I hate analytics. All you have to do is look up the stats for this year's club. And it shows all 30 teams here in the box, and it goes by games played, at bats, runs, hits, the whole nine, right? The only one I'm concerned with right now is, well, strikeouts. So I click on the strikeout icon. Lo and behold, who is leading the major leagues in strikeouts? I'll give you a second. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, it's your Angels. Something to be proud of. We are number 1 in most strikeouts. Who would be number 2? Oh, that would be the Colorado Rockies at 1,228 total strikeouts. The Angels are nearly 70 more strikeouts, 1,294 strikeouts. We still have 30 games left, people. There is a very good chance we could hit 1,400 strikeouts by the end of the season. We have been caught stealing 25 times. We only have 65 stolen bases. Most of those are Neto and Kyron Paris. And Kyron Paris has played only not even a third of the season. We have a total batting average of 231. Yes, 231. Do you think that would have flied in the Lasorda era, in the steroid era, after the steroid era, the 2010s, 12s? No. Getting on base and hitting for average meant something. It doesn't mean something in the analytics era. On base percentage as a team, 303 somehow. A slugging of 405. So again, all this crazy talk about how many home runs the Angels have had, and Gooby spritzing all over himself in the booth, and Wayne Randazzo's telling you that this guy has a homer 3 years ago, and this guy hit 2 home runs 10 years ago. Who gives a shit? Slugging percentage of 405. Where does that rank? Still number 13. So how are you bragging about that? On base percentage, where do we rank? Where are we? Oh, 27th. That's nothing to brag about. How about OPS? Where do we rank? OPS. Go down. 18th. Notice, though, if you were to look at the same screen I'm looking at, the best teams the teams with the best records have the best of all these except strikeouts. Batting average, Toronto Blue Jays 268. See, if we were 250 or above, that'd be something to brag about. They've only struck out 891 times. We have struck out 400 more times than the Toronto Blue Jays, 403 to be exact. So in total at bats, we've had 4,407 total at bats. 1,294 of those are strikeouts. We have struck out a third of our at bats. I'm going to go fucking nuts. If I was the manager of this team, if I'm the general manager, I'm throwing shit harder and bigger than Danny Glover did in Angels in the Outfield. The hell's wrong with this team? Oh, I know it's analytics. We know the answer, yet they continue to do the same thing over and over. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over when you know what is wrong, when you know what the core problem is, and you continue to just sweep it under the floor and be like, let's just keep going, guys. It's like Ron Washington said, which a lot of you still like the guy. He was just as bad because he was like, well, I think we should just keep going. We should just keep, we have kind of problems right now, but we'll get it going. You got to trust the process. The process has been proven flawed at best. Walks. Let's go to walks now, because I want to know who leads the league in walks. The Yankees, 511. Dodgers right behind them. Dodgers have only struck out 1,100 times, which is, again, 200 less than us. It's not as like Toronto Blue Jays. But walks, the Angels rank 23rd in the league, 399. We've caught up a bit. We were at 29, but they've moved up. They had better walks in the second half. RBIs. This is the one that kills me. This is the one that absolutely kills me. Watch where we rank right here. We rank 17th in the league, 552 runs scored, or runs batted in. Worst is the Pirates. That makes sense. Home runs. Somehow, some way, we go from runs batted in. You're like, man, that's not good, man. 17th, that's below average. That's like, that's down there, that's in the lower part of, that's not the upper echelon of 50% of the league. And then you go to home runs and suddenly we're fourth. It's so bullshit. And then Gooby and them, hey, we got 187 home runs. Hey. What does that do? Most of them are solo home runs. They're in fact rally killers. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing, and I don't think home runs are good. If you're just hitting solo home runs, it doesn't do shit. And a lot of those home runs come like today. Hey, they hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning when you were down a touchdown. There's nothing to brag about when it comes to that. Yet this stupid-ass team will continue to brag. And you know who relies heavily on the analytics? I want you to see this. So the Yankees, 219, but, I know they've had their issues, but a lot of it's been pitching. Dodgers at 199. So we're 12 home runs behind the Dodgers. But their RBIs, they're a full 105 RBIs ahead of us. That's a huge difference. That's how they win games. That's how we lose games. And 552 RBIs. The next team is the Arizona Diamondbacks. 184 home runs, 643 RBIs. Nearly 100 better. Same thing with the Athletics. Even better for the Cubs. They've only hit 178 home runs, but they've scored 633 runs batted in. All the teams that right now have 600 are all either in the playoffs or battling for a playoff spot. And that should tell you something. Home runs don't mean shit. And when you're striking out as much as we are, you're not doing anything right. You look at triples. Where are we at triples? At the bottom. Doubles. Let's see where we are at doubles. For some reason, the Angels have that's one I didn't expect. The Angels at doubles are actually no, I'm wrong. Let's see, doubles. I thought they were at the top. I had it backwards. Dead last. So the Seattle Mariners have 181. We have only 180. We're not legging out doubles. Thank you, Taylor Ward. Thank you, other players that aren't actually trying to get hits. Actual hits. Toronto Blue Jays with the most, 1,200. Dodgers at 6. Where are the Angels? We have to keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Ah, there we are. 28th in the league. We have 1,016. Just 8 hits in front of the Giants and about a good 60 ahead of the Guardians, aka shit fucks. So I'm reading off these stats for a reason, and I'm almost done. Bear with me. But with singles, that's just singles, we are 28th. Runs scored. This is a big one. Dodgers was 684. Where are the Angels? Oh, we are 17th again. No better than below average. Folks, I bring this up because this franchise will never, ever get out of its own way until we get back to what made this team and this organization dangerous and what made this team respectable around the league. And that is small ball. That is also a game of adjustments, playing chess with your opponent, making sure that if they make a change, the pitcher starts going away from his fastball because he's not landing it in the strike zone and he decides to go with off-speed stuff and junk to try to fool your hitters into hitting into ground balls, double plays, pop-ups. Well, then you adjust. You take what he gives you and you look for the tendencies. You look for the tendencies, not the analytics, not the fucking StatCast, because StatCast will write you a script, sort of AI style. It'll write you an AI type StatCast script. But as we all know, the game evolves. The game changes. You can go in. Vince Lombardi, who we quote all the time, could go into a football game with a script. He could script the first 20 plays. And guess what? The other team may have a different type of attack, and his script will mean nothing, which we've seen on the baseball side many of times. The Angels will go out there just looking to hack. And what do? They become a bunch of hacks and strike out. This game is about adjustments. If you're not willing to adjust, if you're not willing to evolve with the game and change on the fly, match the intensity, match the game plan, or change against the game plan that's being thrown at you, you're just going to take loss after loss after loss. And I can say this with all honesty, and I'll look right in the camera. Even if Artie Moreno stays, there can be a winner on this field. Why would you say that, Todd? Well, the reason why I would say that is if you were to manage the players that we have, and you've seen it, it's been painful to watch. How many times we have said on a post-game show, damn it, this team is far more experienced and far better with talent. How did we lose to them? I'll tell you why. Locked on Cox, AM 830, Artie Moreno, everyone in the coaching staff and analytics nerds, Sauer Bond or whatever his name is from Boston College. All they know is StatCat bullshit. All they know is analytics bullshit. And they infuse that fungus into the heads of our players. Give them a book of what to read instead of simplifying it for these players. Instead of saying, hey, when we go up there in the 6th inning, I want you to try to get on base right here with either a hit or a walk. Let's try to just simplify it. Don't try to do anything stupid. Just try to make contact against this pitcher. We're gonna try to mess with him a little bit. Stuff like that, or be like, hey, we're gonna try a hit and run in this inning to mix it up, or we're gonna try a pitch out when they have their first runner on. Stuff like that. You want to mix things up. You want to take the game as it goes. You want to change with the scenarios. You just don't want to get given a different scenario and go with the same game plan, because chances are a scenario will come up that's just going to beat whatever you have in mind, because you're not changing to them. They're changing to you. And too many times I've seen, as an observer of this franchise that I love and respect, I love, that I just see over and over them doing the same mundane, dumb shit. And then it makes you scratch your head every time and get so angry and want to punch something when they come out there and they actually play to their opponent's skill level and they match their intensity. They say, okay, they're throwing us curveballs. Let's wait on those curveballs instead of let's swing like they're fastballs. And all of a sudden you're getting contact. There's guys on base. And all of a sudden you win a game 9-2, and you're looking at yourself like, hey, where was this a week ago? Hey, how come we scored 9 runs and none of them were home runs? Oh, I don't know, because we were pressuring the other team. We were getting singles with runners in scoring position. We were getting sacrifices. We were moving guys over. Yeah, all the stuff that makes a winning team. Yet we go up there, and again, drives me nuts. A Jack in the Box commercial sometimes is longer than our inning. Because why? We're free swingers out there. We sleep with any pitch that comes down the middle or doesn't even come down the middle. Sometimes we just look at them, Mike Trout, Taylor Ward. Too many times I'm watching these games just like you, either at the ballpark, because we are fans that are in the stands, unlike Cockton. And we are there watching the games, high-fiving when they actually do something rare that's good. But we're there in the stands watching this team continually put up zeros and just play right into the hands of the opponent, while the other team does whatever it has to adjust to Kikuchi, Soriano, or put whatever pitcher you want to put there. Because they adjusted to Kikuchi tonight, and we had no answer. He had no answer. It just was a bad night. They picked the right game plan. Hats off to Bochy. But as far as the hitting's concerned, you mean to tell me you can't get nothing off Patrick Corbin, a 6 ERA? And again, I'm not saying it's possible or it's not possible that a pitcher like him can have a good performance. I've played the game of baseball at a pretty high level. And sometimes you have to tip your cap to the pitcher, because guess what? He was on it. You could tell he was on it. You may have never seen that pitcher pitch that good before, but guess what? Whatever he did, he ate his Wheaties. All of a sudden, that dude is on fire. You can't touch his fastball. You can't touch anything. Even when you hit it hard, it's right at somebody. That's the luck of the draw. You have to eat that loss and move on. But a guy who's consistently with a 6 ERA all season and has done it to you multiple times, to me, that screams he's done the homework. You don't take him lightly. You didn't do your homework. You didn't invest yourself in this one. You're not playing a team game. You're playing all or nothing, home run or nothing, because he has a 6 ERA. So for all that StatCast bullshit that this team believes in, when it comes to a guy like this, I don't even think they look at the stats. I think they're just like, well, this guy should just be easily hittable. So I don't understand how this team can just be so nonchalant and just not give a fuck about you or me as fans. Because I could see having 1 or 2 bad years like most major league teams do. You could go back and look at any team on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and see a team that, okay, because we've seen it. Think about this. The Angels have the longest non-playoff appearance, or call it drought, of all the teams. So in the last decade or less, you have seen every team in Major League Baseball, the other 29 teams, make the postseason at least once in the last decade, counting back from 2025 to 2015, which means you've had a bad year or two from like the Marlins, or 3. but you could see the maturation and they turn it around and they hit their stride, and all of a sudden they're in the postseason. You've seen it from the Rockies. You've seen it from the Pirates. And I can move my way up to the good teams. My point being is a bad franchise continues to play in the mud like a pig, rolling itself around the bullshit and just rolling and just loving it. But at some point, the pig wants to wash itself off and see its pink skin. Not the Angels. Not the Angels. You got other teams like Wilbur chasing a spider and other pigs making it to the market and whatnot. And we're just lying in the shit, rolling ourselves around like, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Love it. Why work? Why get up? Why even eat the slop that's mixed with shit? Let's just roll in this shit, baby. Yeah, I could eat it off myself even. I mean, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like we're moving anywhere because, again, you could put a nice team on the field. I don't think that this was a quote-unquote nice team, but I thought in the beginning of the season it was respectable, and they would need a lot of things to bounce their way for them to be competitive. At least to get to 500 coming off a 63-game win season. So to get to 500, a lot of things would have to go your way. Some guys would have to have a career year. Joe Adell, Taylor Ward. Some guys did. Zach Neto. And you've seen the emergences of other players. You've seen the downfalls of other players. Ohapi. You've seen some good pitching performances, and you've seen some bad pitching performances. That all comes from a 500 or less team. But just imagine if the analytics weren't there, guys and gals. Just imagine if this team were to be comparable, like come into batting practice and look like a real team. And when the other team is getting prepped to come out there to take their batting practice, they're like, man, they look like they're locked in tonight. You know, homeboy better be ready, starting pitcher. But you don't see that. The Angels don't scare anybody but the Dodgers, apparently. They literally just are a ho-hum team. Don't look like there's much direction. This team takes off a shit ton of games. Case in point, early in the year, they had an autograph session on the field for season ticket holders. I couldn't make it that day because I already had a prior engagement. I was interviewing Ron Holt about his first pitch game and doing some stuff for 714 tickets. But my girl took the kids down there, right? So she asked the usher, when are they going to take batting practice? The usher says, this is the time they do their batting practice. They won't be taking any today. Excuse me. When she told me that, I nearly lost my shit. When I got into the stadium to watch them take on the team they were playing that night, I already knew we were going to lose. No competent team decides to say, well, you know what? I don't want to come to the stands earlier for the fans. I rather scrap batting practice to engage with the fans. And someone say, hey, well, they're sacrificing, Todd. You know, they're giving up their time for you. No, they're on paid time regardless. See, sacrificing would be getting their asses there 3 hours earlier or 2 hours earlier, getting dressed up and doing an hour of autographs on non-company time. That would be a sacrifice. And then you're not hurting the integrity of the ball game. You're not hurting your chances of winning. But they chose to take off batting practice. Same way they've done before, where, again, I don't know how many of you guys and gals remember Mike Scioscia, but when the Angels would lose 5 or 6 games in a row, which was rare, Mike Scioscia would have a closed-door meeting, or he would force the team leader of the team to have a players-only meeting. If they had a game where they had, or a series, I remember one time in Seattle, they had 7 errors in 3 games. When they came home to play Oakland, they had a day off. Guess whose asses were at the ballpark on their day off? You guessed it, the Angels. They were working on fundamentals and defense. Were the players happy? No. But did the team learn from their mistakes? Yeah, they went another 10 games with only committing 1 error. That's what it takes. The little things like that is what this team stays away from like it's COVID-19. They don't give a shit. They're like, no. That is not us. We are divas. Same thing with Mike Trout. Off season, rather golf. Doesn't get better. There's a reason why he can't catch a fastball. That's supposed to be your team leader. Excuse me. If Zach Neto is taking the offseason off, then I don't know baseball. Because all I've heard from the last 2 years, when that dude is off in the offseason, he's still working out. He's still working out with other baseball players. He has his own gym that he works out in. I want that dedication for my players because we're paying those players that to be that dedicated. I don't want a bunch of Anthony Rendones. But even so, going back to my point, this team without the analytics, you cannot tell me otherwise. If we were to just, and I'm not even saying get rid of them, but I'm just saying if analytics were at a 50-50 with this team, or a coach's decision, like, hey, here's the script for tonight, Ray. Highlight or use what you want to use in this book, please. And Ray has all the discretion to be like, you know what? Bullshit as he's flipping the pages. I like this one right here. I may be able to use that guy in the 6th inning where you're saying we should use him. But as far as Kenley right here, no, I don't like that. I don't think Ray has that power. Neither did Ron, because I've been watching too much baseball to know that Ron is not that much of an idiot to make the decisions Ron was making before his heart became a problem. And Ray Montgomery has been in baseball a long time. I know a lot of you don't like Ray. I'm not too fond of him either. But I will say that Ray is smart enough not to make some of the dumb decisions that he's made, which just goes back to my point that I've been saying since day one. They are being told how to coach. They're not telling the players how to play as a coach. I think that has been stripped away from them. And every organization that I read over with the stats in the opener spells out the same goddamn thing. The teams that are at the bottom, you can watch them and they play just like the Angels, just with different players. The teams that have found a healthy balance, the teams that say no to analytics, the teams that are just allowing their managers to make the moves, they're usually the teams that are winning or in the discussion for the playoffs. And I just feel bad because I don't think that they will be ever at that point anytime soon. Because listen, Artie Moreno can live till he's 95. And if he gets through all of this shit that's coming up in the offseason, if he survives it and he can afford to survive it, then we're stuck with him. There is no other way out unless he sleeps with somebody and in an inappropriate way, like rapes them or whatever, and does something, calls somebody the N-word. There's no way we're getting rid of his ass. So when it comes to that, you got to hope that at some point it clicks in his old ass head that, well, maybe I should let someone else run this team. Maybe I should hire somebody that'll do something different. Because again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. Artie has done the same thing over and over. It is proven not to be a winner. Whether he understands that or not is beyond me. But as fans, as everyone can see in the fucking stands and on TV, even Locked on Cox can see it, but they're too myopic and they want to stick to their script to tell you there's serious problems and nothing will change until they change. Again, Artie Moreno can stay here and have a winner. You can put Artie Moreno and winner in the same sentence. But things would have to be a certain way. He would have to allow his people to run the team the right way. He would have to hire the right people and trust the process, because he has hired dumbass people and has asked us to trust the process. And we know damn well that process isn't working. And since Saucy popped up right there, my good boy James, him and his wife were there on Saturday, and I repeated it on the post game, and I'll say it again. I go walking around to go meet a couple other friends in the stands because I was running into a bunch of people at the game. Saucy texts me and I surprised the shit out of me. He said, "Hey man, I'm out of here. It's 6-0. It was just after the Grand Slam." He goes, "I can't take this, dude." And it wasn't I can't take this because he's mad and because he wants to throw something. He's, as a fan, just feels bad for the organization and feels bad for the players and feels bad for the rest of the fans in the stands, where it's like, man, dude, I just can't muster up watching this. This is slop. This is shit. He texted me, "I'm going to go see a movie with my wife." And all I can say is, man, I hope you have a good time because I know you're not having a good time here. And I respect that because some people say, well, that's not a real fan. He's just stuck through the ninth inning. That's his right, man. He paid to go into the stadium. Just like you pay your cable bill to watch him on TV. You could change a channel. Who's going to tell you you're a bullshit fan? You could be in the stands and boo the shit out of him. I do. And I still get a honk or two there like, hey, man, don't get mad at our players. Those are our players. You're discouraging them. It's like, no matter what I say, it's not going to change the outcome because they're programmed to do stupid things because the analytics tells them to. And when they when they have one game out of 6 that are actually good, it's like Artie and all of them are celebrating like, we fucking told you. See, we won 10-2 tonight. Analytics won us this game. The pitching told us to pitch like this, and guess what? It won. Fuck you, Todd. And guess what? We told them how to hit, and they hit 5 home runs. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Deos in your face, fucking Todd. Why? While you're up there in 260 booing, we just won a game on analytics. Fuck you. Okay. All right. And then I say, try doing that tomorrow. Let's see if that shit works tomorrow. And guess what happens? Next day comes, the other team 7 runs, 13 hits. Angels 1 run, 5 hits. When did you get that run? 9th inning when it didn't give a shit. When the pitcher didn't give a shit. That's winning baseball to you? Because that's what we do. And I'm tired of it. So again, when this team didn't have analytics shoved up its ass and then regurgitated onto the field so that we can stomach the smell in the stands, I enjoyed watching the NFL and getting into the NFL in week 4 or 5, which would usually be the first week of October if the Angels were almost eliminated or just about to be eliminated, or they were in the first round and got eliminated. But at least they were there. They were in the playoffs. They were in the picture. You get what I'm saying, right? I can't do that no more. I can guarantee you that every Sunday moving forward, after or from the week 1 of the NFL season, I'm not going to do a post-game show. I'm not going to go to a game, even though I have tickets for it. Why? Not because my team is so good in the NFL and I think we have a chance to go all the way, but there's a better opportunity of seeing winning than having to sit through an entire baseball season being frustrated over and over and over again. To where, again, I would skip out on the first few weeks of the NFL season because I love baseball and I want the Angels to be good and I want to continue my fandom as long as I possibly can into October. We don't know what October baseball is as Angels fans. And this game tonight is just another freaking example of how the analytics have ruined this team. And it is going to take just an absolute culture change. I don't know if you've ever been, and this is my last thing before I get into anything else. Have you ever been at a job where maybe management has changed and they maybe get you into a meeting and say, okay, I know the previous managers, the previous ownership did things a certain way, but it didn't maximize profits. It didn't get the best production. It didn't get the best connection with the people we're selling to and trying to attract to our business. And one day those people decided, we got new ownership or we got new management, and they came in with that meeting and said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change the culture to make you guys feel better. Maybe they gave you new uniforms. Maybe they gave better rules or more pay, or they said more vacation, or maybe it was a combination of everything else. But basically, they did all that up front to change the culture, to try to get you to buy into the company, because maybe the way you're representing the company under the old ownership is giving a bad sign to the people coming in, the patrons. So they changed the culture to attract more business. They changed maybe the logo, or they changed how they did things to better serve the public. Well, that's what you got to do with the baseball too. You got to change the culture on the inside in the clubhouse, because however they play on the field would attract more people here. I've said it before and I said it again. It doesn't matter what the name is on the back. If the player's good, we're going to buy your jersey. We're going to support you because of the name on the front. And if you're treating us good as fans, we're going to come back to your ballpark. And we're not going to need Christmas in June. We're not going to need Star Wars nights. We're not going to need an Indiana Jones ride in center field or any kind of giveaway. I grew up in those years of winning under Artie Moreno because of Disney. I have to preference it that way because it's just the truth. Under those years, there wasn't that many giveaways. They'd have a giveaway here or there, but it was mostly the only giveaways, if you can call it that, was fireworks night. That's it. So people came, tickets were hard to get, and the experience was amazing because the team gave you everything that you wanted and more. High number of saves by Frankie Rodriguez, bunch of home runs by our star hitters, Hall of Fame careers like with Vladimir Guerrero, watching Tim Salmon's final days, Garrett Anderson's final days, good pitching, Socha's managing, good defense. You would literally go to the Big A and believe the bullshit that AM 830 was saying. Because, see, that's the problem I have with AM 830. They're still talking propaganda like it was in 2009. Hey, come down to the Big A where to the Cowboy, where the stadium that the Cowboy built that Artie Moreno made so much better, a.k.a. the Big A. Now, that line might have worked from 2004 to 2011, maybe into 14 as well. But after that, it doesn't work anymore. You got to change with the times. You got to tell it how it is, but they can't do it. It's a propaganda machine. Got to keep people coming. My point is, though, you had star players, Torrey Hunter. You had a bunch of players that came through here, all of which we've had favorites over the years. I could say, hey, man, who's your favorite right now in the comments? Everyone pops up. Oh, Darren Erstad. Oh, this guy. Oh, that guy. I love Ibar. I love Rivera. I love this guy. And the list would go on and on and on. We've all had our superstar players, our favorite players over the years. But the point being is we may have that here today, but it's not the same. See, when we were saying, oh, man, those are our favorite players, and they were on good teams, you can now say, man, I love Zach Neto, or I love Mike Trout. I like Detmers, but they're on a bad team. They're on a team that doesn't look like they are going anywhere. So until that changes, we're stuck with less than mediocre baseball. You're stuck with what I described when I first started this rant, which is we lead the league in strikeouts. But hey, we're fourth in home runs. What does that get you? Because you're nowhere close with RBIs. You're nowhere close with RBIs to the top. It's just all or nothing, baby. Eric Ward says revive in 25. And on that hot day before the home opener, you had Roger Lodge out there with the players coming out with fire and all that stuff. And it's opening day, meet the Angels. And you had Roger Lodge spewing all his propaganda. And he comes out there and says, you know what, guys? We need a new saying for this year. I know it was a tough start, but the guys are home. We're excited for another home opener. Revive in 25. Everybody here, I need you to say it with me. Revive in 25. And there was a lot of honks there. And a lot of honks were like, yes, Roger, revive in 25. I'm just booing the whole time because it's full of shit. Yes, we've been we've been surprised at times with this team this year. But whenever the Angels needed to prove that, hey, we still suck, believe me, they made it known. They didn't let you forget it. Spritzing 26. I'll tell you, if we get to the playoffs next year, huge if, that is got to be Spritzing 26. But this long ass rant, sometimes I have lost why I went this far with it. But I guess when you're this passionate and you're tired of bullshit losses, you can you can you can talk for as long as I did. So I hope I didn't bore you guys, but what a loss again, just goes to show you that yes, they do remind us that they suck. They do remind us that they are not good. They do remind us that they are taking it incomplete on the report card because again, they're getting sabotaged by the upstairs and those nerds, the pencil necked geek rejects that just they can't and never have played professional ball, and it shows. Maybe it's their way of getting back at the Jocks. I don't know. Let's read some comments before I get over to the YouTube side real quick. Angels are not a team of adjustments. They go with no agenda. There's only one 300 baseball hitter in all of MLB. That can be changed if analytics were gone. I'm just saying, Bill, and that's a shame because there used to be a number of them. JL Bilson says, yeah, solo home runs because no one can get on base. Also, Rob Ruzi says, in the 2000s, we were good. People running and bunting and playing fast. Miss it. Also, don't worry, we're still competitive. I know one is Freeman, also Judge, Ardenda, Pena, Bichette, Freeman, and Springer, 300 hitters. When will the analytics tell them the analytics aren't working? When they stop paying them, because those analytic geeks are just robbing these teams. I feel. What's our team ERA? Does it give that? That's well. Let me get to the right there. Let's get to the pitching here, because I just did hitting. Pitching ERA for the Angels. Let's see where we're at. Go down, 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 down. Oh, there we are. I hope you're still on. We're number 27th in the league, 4.70 ERA. That's not good. That is not good. How many hits have been given up by the Angels? Let's see. They are fifth in the league in giving up 1,167 total hits. Number one is obviously the Rockies. They have allowed 37 home runs given up as a team pitching wise. I want to see where that ranks here as far as pitching. Hold on a second. Let's see. The most is the Rockies that's been given up. Let's see. The Angels, 14th, 153 given up. Let's see. Walks, another problem the Angels have. Who knew? The Angels are leading with most walks given up, 502. Second place is the White Sox, 479. Strikeouts as a team, the most is the Houston Astros. The Angels rank 23rd. So pitching is a very big problem. Average against, batting average. The highest batting average or lowest batting average given up is 223 by the Padres. The Angels are 27th, 260. So guys are hitting at a 260 clip against your Angels. Isn't that awesome? Complete games. I know that there's not many complete games because it's not really a stat anymore. They don't let them go as long. I don't think we have one. Yeah, the Angels don't have one amongst a lot of teams. Shutouts. 16 for the Pirates. That makes sense. The Angels, 6. 28th. Saves as a team. Padres was 42. And you go down here for the Angels, 20th, 30. So it's not too bad. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. ERA sucks at 470, one of the worst in the league. So again, you don't have that many, how many steals do the other team have? Let me check the stolen let's see, stolen bases against. I don't think it has that one. Yeah, I don't see that one expanded. Hold on. For some reason, it doesn't. But walks per game, given up 2 for the Cubs is number 1. Angels are averaging 3. That's worst as far as allowing walks per game. So it's 3 right there. Strikeouts per 9. You have the Astros averaging 9 strikeouts per game. The Angels are averaging there's respectable 8, but that's at 2-0. They're at 23rd. They're 23rd. Oh boy, yeah. Not good. Not good. Let me get back to the comments here. Let me go down here. Do you think the players will leave the Angels when they say good things about the organization? Look, players will leave if the team is shit, and I think they stay because it's they can probably make more with the Angels than they would other teams. But damn, player development has not been good since 92 to 99. I would say from 2000 to 2005 it was good. Bilson says Kikuchi was so bad they spent a whole half inning talking about Nolan Ryan. Also, worst coaching staff in baseball for a decade. Not all strikes are good strikes. Is it that hard to hit a baseball? It sure is. The players are done with the season. They are already ready for vacation. Tonight was pathetic. Already the worst owner in professional sports. Kyler says, I told you win a game, then lost the next 7. Love you, Angels, but you guys can't hit. Montgomery knows he ain't coming back, so he's not giving a shit. Let's see. Also, weird Toronto's in first. How many strikeouts does Toronto have? They don't have that many, which is weird either. Trout is going to go on the IL the first week of football season. Watch. We just keep running into hot teams and getting swept. Y'all, just unlucky. Oopsie daisy. Also, you got Anaheim Angels should go back to being the Anaheim Angels we won under that name. Or how many steals do they have against the team? I tried looking that up and couldn't find it. Now let me get into the comments over here on YouTube. It is not Spritz o'clock, Mateo, even though you get the credit for it because we lost. I don't feel like playing any of that shit tonight because, man, it doesn't feel right only having 3 Deos. I will play fat.
Fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out. He's going to calm down, okay? All right? He's fat.
Josh says, lock up Adele and Neto in the offseason. The duo is our future. Dan says, Adele and Neto proving themselves. Trout is done. Coochie sucks. He's great at walking many batters. Also, Dan says, you know what? Me love you long time. And Roger's always willing to tell you that right back.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny. And me love you long time.
Halo Nation wants to know, how do I know that they run with analytics? Even a blind man can see that they run with analytics. I also have inside information from players and also people that are in the organization right now that are high up in the office that it's basically a Bible to your Halos. And they actually have their own book and tablet filled with analytics, and they get their marching orders from upstairs. So yes, analytics is, to most teams, it's an option, or at least the winning teams, it's an option. But to the losing teams, for some reason, it's a must. And yes, it is a must. Oh no, we suck again, Mario says. Man, I hate having to play that one too, man. But dude.
Oh no, we suck again.
Frostblaze says, no matter how the year ends, it's been nice to see you young guys thrive this season. At least we got some Ducks hockey to look forward to now. There you go. Alfonso also says, oh no, we suck again.
Oh no, we suck again.
Fact this organization, EQ says. Also, Frostblaze says all these losses are going to start running up our butts right now. Oh, jeez. Here we go again, man.
Let me tell you something about my guy, John Stamos. So I was able to go in the back bedroom and unscrew the old
balls and running up my butt right now.
You get out of it what you put into it. John Stamos
choked on me.
He was so great.
Mike Trout is so back, only in 2 Ks today. Mike Trout is myopic. Demetrio says Angels players try Just trying to stat pad their lines right now since the season is over. Mario says, I hope the season isn't just a one-off for Odell. I hope so either. I really want them to be better. We're obviously really competitive. Angels are bad, says. Also, Fernando checks in with, I almost caught Adele's homer. You were on TV tonight, Mr. Fernando. Marty says, breaking news, Trout hits his solo home run for number 400 in 2026. Wolfman Jack says, Angels need to ask AI how to win 90 games. Todd is pulling out the analytics on analytics. Nice K, really poor man's version of Mike Napoli. Proof these nerds should be fired. Alfonso says in the 200s we had, or 2000s, we had 0 guys batting 231, which makes sense for a winning club. How does a team just get away with losing with the loyal fans we have in this community? That who cares? Jesus says this team is a joke and can't win and score with runners in scoring position. Mario says, listening to you saying the numbers out loud, Todd, I can't believe we don't have 100 losses. Q Lombardi, we should. And that just goes to show you there is heart on this team. Also, Mateo says, I didn't watch the game because I had a busy game today. He's on the road again. Silent East says, Angels in fourth place team in the best MLB, at best in the MLB, and last place team in a banana ball league. Where can this team even compete at this point? Little League World Series champs? I don't know. Team Mexico looks tough. Also, Angels, I read that one right now. Tyler says, Todd, reading the stats, I think we suck. Yes, we suck again, Dan Rio says. Also, Mario says, what's harder for you, Todd, watching the Angels playing the way they are or cheering for former USC Sam Darnold on your Seahawks? Right now it's the Angels, but it might be Darno later, Mario. What the hell's going on out here? I am very, very nervous about him. Also, Kylo says, as much as this organization tries to convince that this team is well-rounded team, it is not. Yeah, if you hear Gooby and Wayne, they're all like, hey, did you see Ardazio, whatever his name is, hit that truck on the windshield? Hey! Frederick says, just move the line. Get on base. Yes! Silent says, if you can't do the little things right, then you can't expect to win games. No matter what StatCast tells you, 139 years of baseball history will tell you that you can't do the fundamentals. You can't win. What happens in the playoffs? Analytics or not? Great point, Silent. But what happens in the playoffs? All of a sudden, teams that weren't bunting are bunting. All of a sudden, they're doing the stolen bases. All of a sudden, they're doing hit and runs. That shit works. Jesus says the people that make the MLB schedule hate the Angels. There will be an opening day on the road versus the Trastros, Cubs and Reds, Yankees or Royals, and Chicago White Sox. Mateo says, what did the flight attendant say to the 2x4 when it got on the airplane? Welcome aboard. Oh my God. Halo Homie says, Todd, watching your beloved Angels play day by day in and day out, has aged you horribly. They have taken years off our lives. Fuck! Yes, they have. Saucy says the whole organization is clinically stripped out shitbox, unworthy of our viewership. This team is playing kumbaya. What is up, Lee? He says, God help us if Ron Washington wants to come back to this team. He's out of his damn mind. Mario says, Todd quoted Charlotte's Web. He's losing his mind. Q Lombardi. You didn't like the pig references? You didn't like the sloshing around in our own mire instead of shit? What the hell's going on out here? Kylo also says, I will always love the Angels because they represent where I'm from, but it's really a tragedy. Literally, the teams shouldn't have hit reset after Skaggs. True. Also, at this point, I don't even think that the Dodgers are scared of us. It feels like the only reason we swept them is because they played down and we played up, knowing who they are and knowing who we are. That's probably right. Baseball is not like football where you have a halftime. That's true. Eric Ward says, I thought a nap after work was a good alternative to watching this game. Thankfully, I made the right choice. This team could put anyone to sleep at this point. 12 says, or Jay17 over there on TikTok says, can we start 2026 free agency now? I highly doubt we'll spend this summer. Why would you want to start it then? I can't pull up that Halo Nation story right there. Also, Strange says Angels have failed to execute on their own analytical bullshit and most likely failed to develop secondary players stats. Sosha created the blueprint to win, and yet they ignore it. And by the way, catch him on the flip side when he says,
"These nuts, got him, got him."
Coach is like, I bet Ray didn't even look at the numbers. Ray looks at the numbers and says, "Oh shit, I got my numbers wrong." Eric Ward says Madden verified your point, Todd. He said that the analytics run the organization, and he didn't have the ability to do too much managing. Managers are just there to look official, but they don't do shit. When we take them away, the game suffers. What's up, Cisco? Also, Ray Montgomery is not a great manager like Ron Washington and Mike Scioscia and Joe Madden in his prime. They're managers that pep talk players. Also, this team is likely to finish in last place. So pathetic. Jack Kwanowitz EQ says is starting tomorrow. Halo Nation says, I want to be clear that there are no long-term discussions taking place and none intimate. Anaheim City manager Jim Vanderpool told council members Tuesday. Yes. And that I'm glad you brought that up, Halo Nation, because they do have there are going to be a bunch of talks coming up here soon that are going to play into getting long-term discussions being taken place, because you got to figure out what's going to happen with the audit. And if the audit goes sour, then obviously there's no long-term talks. Again, this team's under contract to 2030 in the city of Anaheim, but Anaheim desperately wants to break that lease because they are making no money on this fucking contract. Eric says, if we end up in last place, Perry's fat ass should be fired. I don't care if Artie calls all the shots or not. Perry has failed for the last 5 years, and he's tired of his fat ass.
This fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out. He's going to calm down.
Drown us all out.
All right? He's fat.
Andrew says, Kwanowitz is starting tomorrow. Fuck this organization for real. And that's the problem, too. You have other rookies you could bring up. Nah, let's not do that. Halo Homie says, oink, oink, haha. Yep, that's us for sure. Satisfied with losing. There is no backbone fan base. Also, long rant. Lee says, hey, Todd, it's pretty sad when the only thing you have to look forward to is fireworks on a Saturday night. The Dodgers series was really their World Series. They are acting like it's a scrimmage time now. Todd Fox, my birthday is September 20th. The Angels play the Rockies at Coors Field. Well, happy early birthday. Demetrio says, my last sniff of the playoffs was 2 straight against the Royals 2014. Fans were so weak that night. I was yelling nonstop, and everyone was acting like a soccer momish. We need changes, big changes. EQ says, you're right. I've been there many times to hype up the crowd with Todd, and everyone is a Karen about it in the first few innings. Laugh my ass off. It's like they do it on their own pleasure or when they feel like it. Also, K-Rod right there. Angels lost the season series against the Rangers, which is pathetic. Revive in 25. Oh, wait. We need a new gaslighting slogan. Cue Bally's Christmas in September. That would actually work a lot better. I mean, at least you got fall weather at that point. Also, we don't even lose or spritz as a team. Revive in 26. Hey, Roger, the season does start tonight. Yes, it does. Every night.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
30 games. Love the rants because they are necessary. Thanks to Mere 20. A great rant, Todd. You were saying what we were thinking. Thank you, Frederick. Alfonso says, remember the good old days when we would spritz 5 or 6 days in a row? Yeah, you come to the stadium fully expecting to spritz, Alfonso, because you thought this team has the guts, the cojones, whatever you want to call it, to play with any team. And if they're down 4 runs in the 8th inning, I'm going to stick around because that team has proven multiple times that they would come back. I deal with this kind of shit in the corporate world. You have people in this cubicle that have no fucking clue telling you how to do your job because it's a spreadsheet. It's insanity. Also, Alfonso says, what's our spritzing average? Are we at the bottom of the league? Yes, we are. Halo Nation brings up Jim Edmonds. I love Jim Edmonds. I rooted for him in St. Louis. He had nothing bad to say about the organization. I just wish he was never traded. I love that guy. GA, Salmon, Erstad, Gloss, Molina, man, all should be freaking Angel Hall of Famers. Here's a new stat for the Angel starters. IBB, innings before blowing. Where do we stand on the creepy cult leading announcer Halo Brothers? Roger 3, Gooby 4, Gavin's parents. We'll have to visit that at the end of the season, Alfonso. Todd, do I get credit for the spritz o'clock? Yes, you do. Tamir 20 says Jack K is starting tomorrow, so that's another loss upon us. Alfonso says, I really think Trout might need glasses. Dude, you're absolutely right, Alfonso. My dad was saying that too. He's like, boy, that guy, he's having too much sex, and too much sex for Mike Trout is affecting his eyes. It's either that or dangling his wing. One of the two. He needs glasses. Misa says, hi, Halos. What's up, Misa? Halo, I already answered that analytics question. Also, we had joint practice today. All that's talking about football. DJ says, if only this organization listened to you, Todd, I'm sure they do somehow, some way, but take no action. I have heard of a couple people that have heard our shows, whether it's me and Fernando, whether it's myself or someone else on here. They do know what we talk about, but again, you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't say that I'm a genius by no means, but I call a spade where there's a spade. And if I was able to consult with his team, I could raise the war of this team. You know what I mean? Like I could have a pretty good war helping this team try to win games. Misa says, let's go Dodgers. Let's not. Corey says, you hear anything behind the scenes about the season? No, not yet. Like I said, Corey, you'll be the first to know. I'll probably message you when I do. But for right now, I've heard a bunch of other crap, but it doesn't pertain to the audit thing. He's staying away from the stadium, which is Artie. Trent Russ is going to drink. Also, Halo Nation says, wash back at eating chicken wings and doing lines. Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing he should be eating, especially chicken with fat. I mean, at least if you're going to eat chicken after open heart surgery, or that was probably before the open heart surgery, you should be eating it, grilled with like lemon and salt, maybe salt. Also, oh no, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. We lost again to the Rangers, a team that we should own.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Silent E checks in with that. If I'm not mistaken, Anaheim gets 40% of the ticket sales if the team draws 3 million fans. They could make money off this team if it was any good. I smell conspiracy, cheap ass Artie. We'll see. Even if that's the case, maybe he is tanking him, Silent E, because he needs to pay for this shit coming up. Now, this whole audit thing has been in the works for the last 4 years. They've been pushing, even in the last administration of the City Council of Anaheim, for this audit to be completed because they're tired of being raped behind the woodshed by this organization by only paying $1 in leasing fees all year. Like, I don't even know how that goes. Like, they have to make that transaction legal with $1. I mean, is it real petty to where Artie actually walks over to the city council downtown Anaheim and says, hey, here's your $1, shove it? Or do they say, or does it just they automatically withdraw it from his account and they're proud of themselves? Like, hey, I fucking took that $1 from Artie. I don't know, man. I just sound it's so goofy. If they listen to Todd and this network, Silently says they would be listening to most of the fans, and that wouldn't be okay. Cheap ass Artie doesn't want anyone sticking their hands in the cookie jar. Pause. And I have to say there's 100% behind that, because what Silently said, because again, I brought up the point a couple days ago. This organization doesn't give a shit what I say with a platform or what you say as a fan on your private page or at the stadium. Because again, if you were to poll the Angel fans of the top 4 questions that they want answered, or that they would want one of the answers to be addressed by the organization, it would be the question or the statement of, can you get starting pitching? Can you please get starting pitching? That is what this franchise, this fan base has been saying for years, at least the last 4 years. And the fact that they don't do that, every one of us goes into a game or into a season optimistic about what the Angels can do. We all have our predictions. Some of us go Halo honkish, some of us are realists, and we kind of just go, okay, it is what it is. But we're still hyped for the season. Like, baseball fans are a different breed. We're able to be, know that there's not going to be a good outcome to the season. Know at some point we're going to be very frustrated. But that opening series, the opening game, the breaking of camp, of spring training, the fresh air, it's time to play baseball. It's time to, everything counts now. And the Angel fans do get excited. They ignore the fact that, okay, we had another bad off season. We signed a bunch of bargain basement shit, and we did not address the starting pitching again. And a lot of us can look past that and be like, I just want to see the season starts. I want to see how this team competes. Knowing damn well you know how it's going to compete. But we have that hope as Angel fans of, hey, man, this year's different. But again, if they would listen to us fans, they would understand our frustration and say, hey, you know what, man? We need to get these guys some pitching. Because I'm just telling you right now, straight up, if I'm general manager of your Angels and I look into the stands on a season like this and see you guys pack it out and we're only putting up 1 run and 5 hits, I'm making changes. Because, yeah, I'm getting paid good money. And yeah, it's a lot of pressure with the media and other things and social media. But I want to make the fans happy. I want to make this team good. I want to make this community feel proud of their team. So when you're coming home after a rough night, you got chewed out at work, or your wife, said something to piss you off, or your girl dumped you, or you did something stupid to your girl and made her sad, and you're feeling like shit. It's certain things like this. Like, sports fans have their team that can get them out of a rut, that can make them feel better about themselves, or at least ignore the real world for a few minutes. And this team doesn't provide you it. It's sort of like the Angels are like, oh, you're down right there? Oh, you must be feeling like shit today. Let me just kick you a little bit. Instead of holding out a hand and saying, hey, come here, you. You know you're better than that. You know you're going to have a good day. Did you see what I did today? Doesn't that make you feel good? Come here. Come on. Give me a hug. That's what the Angels are supposed to do. Instead, they're all like, the fuck you doing down there? Shit. I think I'm going to help you up? Kiss my ass. I mean, that's what it feels like. Honestly, they aren't going to go anywhere until they actually make an effort to get pitching. Exactly. Which won't happen until Artie isn't the owner. Also, TikTok Zombie says, I'm sure it's all Donald Trump's fault. He is a supporter. Corona guy says, hey, but we're trending in the right direction, are we not? And then JG says, it took Dodgers 36 years to win a ring from 1988. Facts, because we all know 2020 didn't count. As far as pitching, it looked promising, but then it crumbled, and it is crumbling bad. We are a crumbling donut right now. Let's see. Also, you have DJ says, I tell myself no more this season, but I still end up buying shit at the stadium. Eric Ward says this game sucked, but Erica looked good tonight. So there's that at least. Courtney says, it generally saddens me, and I'm witnessing the rise and fall of Mike Trout right before my eyes. A lot quicker than you thought, Courtney, right? Also, when was the last time the Angels have won opening day? It's been a long ass time. Courtney says, when was the last time we won a home opener as well? Alfonso says, Todd, a dog, and number 6 were both ran over in an intersection. How can you tell which corner the dog was ran over? There was skid marks before the dog. I like that. I like that a lot. How come Marty is not going to the stadium anymore? like how you were saying, because he's embarrassed, and if he can't tell, if he can't, Corey, if he can't take getting booed on opening day, that should tell you, and he doesn't understand why they boo him, so he'd rather just not be there. Tamir 20 says, I'm calling it right now. Angels are going to sign Eric Fried, the guy that got released by the Cardinals and White Sox. Most likely. DJ says, anyway, or away opening day, away last game of the season, shake my head. Courtney says, the Angels have not provided any feel-good moments for me the last 5 years. The Angels are currently that relationship that says, let's stay together for the kids. Love the analogy. The Archangel says it took the Dodgers 69 years to win their first World Series. Mateo says, hey, I know someone who's fat, and you should let him know. Okay.
This fat son of a bitch is going to trial us all out.
Peterson. Peterson's fat.
He's fat.
Eric says, so my youngest son tells me he's kind of an Angels fan now. Should I be happy or sad? Whew. I mean, at least he's not a shit fucks fan. But I will say this. He's not trending in the right direction. I mean, I wouldn't have never said it before. It's not like he's trending in the right direction with the Dodgers. But at least he's coming around to our side. And at least you know that he won't be a cocky son of a bitch and that he's going to be very humble because this team will humble you into submission. It will make you put your head down when you walk into a room or a bar full of fans that are Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers fans, and you're over there supporting the big A on your head. Should not be like that. Should be proud to represent the Angels. But Artie Moreno has ruined that over and over and over. Corona says he won't have to wait hours to get in or out of the stadium. Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, that dude, he lives in Arizona, has a place in Newport as well. The times he has come in, which is hilarious, he comes in with his best buddy, and they come through the players' entrance. Whereas growing up and seeing the Angels under Artie Moreno the first few years, you could catch him in the 400s and 500s because he loved you and me saying, oh, it's Artie Moreno. Hi, Artie. Love the team. Love you. Love Artie. Love the beers. Hey, this one's for you, Artie. Love the beer prices are so low. All right, let's get a winner. Yeah, let's get a win tonight. There's always comments like that. And then I remember spring training 2021. He walked by us, and all of us in my group said, how about getting some fucking pitching? Which he looked back with a, what those guys say? And he did his Daffy Duck impersonation, and we said, get pitching. Oh, those guys were sons of bitches. And he walked off. Since then, I haven't seen him in the crowd. He's either on the field or in the press box, ignoring everybody. Because you know he gets shit. You know he would get shit. And plus, I mean, the more he talks, like, you'd have to have one of those face shields on because the saliva would just be shooting out like a super soaker. He will always be able to find great seats for $5. That's true. Strange says Gene Mock. Boy, that goes back. And Sosha had similar styles of aggressive coaching. Small ball tactics. Absolute gems. Funny thing about Gene Mock. I think Gene Mock had the Angels in the postseason. Was it 79 and 82? I think it was 79 and 82 and maybe 86. Or was that Marcel Latchman? I just know that those teams are gritty and had a lot of talent. A lot of talent. Let's see. That hat is the only good thing about the Angels. Thank you. Yankees hit it to a double play. Jules says, who did you run into at the ballpark? Oh, that would have been Artie Moreno back in the day. Ran into him several times, especially in spring training. When he first had the team, I want to say I didn't run into him until I always would miss him because friends of mine would tell me, dude, we saw Artie Moreno. He was in section 421. He was shaking hands with everybody, taking pictures. I'm like, really? I missed it. But I swear to God, though, I've seen him only 2 or 3 times since I saw him in 2000. I want to say 16 at the stadium. So it was like 2 years removed from the playoffs. And I think Trout was having a good year, and I saw him up there. So yeah, since then I have not seen him. Ryan is hungry. That's another good one right there. Artie would get cursed out if he was ever in the 400. He might not make it out of there. I swear to God, people can't stand that guy. And Ryan's same thing. We've seen him hire. We've been forwarded pictures. We've actually taken pictures of him up in the press box, looking down in a dark room, so it's not even lit up, so that you could see him. Herman says, my buddy's dad is friends with Artie from high school. He told him we're waiting for the young players to develop. You would think, Herman, if he's that old, or if he was in his 50s, he'd be waiting for the players to develop. But you're in your 70s now, and there's not really too much you could do by waiting. Any other prospects you think we can see before the end of the season? I think that dude that's hitting he was hitting 15 out of his last 26. And there is, we can get Kyron Paris back up here. I'd like to see Clausen get an opportunity along with Kane and Data. Elda Gary hasn't had a true start, so I would like to see those guys come up because it looks like Victor Medeiros went down with an injury. That was after the Angels-Dodgers series. Oh, yeah. Right? Also, Artie, sightings are becoming like Bigfoot. That is true. That is true. So we made it through another night. The Angels take a loss. I'll be back on here tomorrow, maybe a little bit later after the game, not right on time. So it might be pushing around this time or a little bit after tomorrow, like 9:30. I got something to take care of tomorrow evening. So I'll be on here a little bit late.
Oh, gnarly!
I know. I'll be on. It won't be a bad show. Seriously.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together.
I'll get it together, don't worry.
Take it somewhere, take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just got to get it together. Get your shit together.
Angel Stadium isn't even cheap anymore unless it's the ticket. Well, it may get more expensive once they do the refurbishing. Let's get Nolan Ryan to pitch for us again, Archangel says. Also, Ryan is hungry says, I feel like I haven't seen him in his owner's suite since 2023. It has been a while, my friend. It has been a while. Salanese says, this team with analytics reminds me of an episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob is trying to teach Patrick how to open a jar or firmly grasp it with your hand. A lot of SpongeBob references, but you got to dig SpongeBob. That was a great show at one time. But yeah, it's true. Analytics have ruined this team. Like, that was the topic for tonight. Went a lot longer than I thought, but I appreciate everybody being on here. And I'll remind you the score one more time if I have to, is we went through the stats too. We broke it down like nobody else. And we gave it to you, the hard facts on why this team sucks. Too many strikeouts, too many solo home runs, not enough hits, high ERA. The list goes on and on and on, and analytics have absolutely destroyed this team. Angels lose 7 runs on 7 hits for the Texas Rangers. The winning pitcher is Patrick Corbin. With a 6 ERA, he goes 8 innings, go figure. Kikuchi continues his up and down roller coaster year. He's now 6-9. 3 runs, 6 hits for your Angels. He allowed 4 hits and 6 runs in 4 innings, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. Also, if Manfred had any spine, he'd force him to sell. Angels are not a small market and shouldn't be acting like it. Super true. And just look at what Manfred was doing with the Milwaukee Brewers last year, threatening them just to get some freaking luxury boxes. And he lets this team do whatever the hell it wants and ruin this Los Angeles market. Eric says moist. Courtney Charms with no moist. Mock was 82 and 86 seasons. Okay. I thought he was 79. 79 was somebody different. So with that being said, everybody, you guys are the best on here as far as you taking the show where it goes. And I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate everyone chiming in with their thoughts. And again, hoping that this season can just die in peace and we'll see what happens next year. We'll see what happens in the offseason first. I mean, there's a lot to you know, to cheer for. We have to cheer for Artie to just absolutely get just reamed from behind by the city and the auditor. I mean, that is the only way that we'll see some kind of movement as far as a sell. If not, we got to hope that this is the year that Artie spends again and that he puts some more competent people. There should be heads that roll despite him being such a shit owner. So there's that hope too, that heads will roll, and instead of just getting the same old people in here, let's get some different looks. Let's get some different opinions. Let's get a different strategy. Because obviously the strategy we have with the analytics and the way that we're moving, like even when the Joe Madden days, nothing's changing. And I'm tired of watching mediocre baseball over and over and over and over. JG says, Angels fans, keep your head up. And that's all we can say. So for Halos in the Infield Network, it's getting close to that Ohapi time. I will be posting also a link for an opportunity to play some softball. So if you guys and gals want to get in on playing some softball with us September 20th, I'll have the link up there for you to register and use our code, because there is an entry fee to play. We couldn't get a sponsor this year to take care of the field. So there is a little bit of a fee, but you will, by participating, paying that fee. It's low too. It's like $20 or so. That's with a Heedy code. You'll get a jersey and a hat. So with the Halos in the Infield on it, or it's the baseball team. It's going to have the Halos in the Infield logo. I know that for sure. But you will get a Halos in the Infield hat. That's going to come from me and the rest of the crew here. So we'll provide that separate. But yeah, we're gonna need 2 teams of 15. So if you know some really good players, or you yourself want to play, you got to come down and at least cheer us on like the Archangel. Yes, you could be a cheerleader, but you got to be mindful of the children, Archangel. So that being said, have a good rest of your night. Angels lose again. Sucks.
Dear little buttercup, won't you stay out? When? You and I will settle